the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
There are some films that have been made that actually might make for good Lenten viewing. And I am joined today by somebody who will walk us through that. Dr. Monica Miller joins us. She's the director of Citizens for a Pro-Life Society and a professor of theology with a PhD from Marquette University. Great to have her with us. She actually wrote about 4 such films in Crisis Magazine. If you want to read the article or get up to speed or spend some spiritual time, this is a great exercise. You said, I haven't done a whole lot for Lent. So when I saw this, I thought, let me at least put it on your radar. Dr. Miller, good to have you with us. Thanks for putting this before us.
Yeah, it's great to be back with you, Drew. Thank you.
So fill me in, on the movies that you are suggesting. I'm assuming one of them is probably the 10 Commandments. There's a lot of others. You think about Lent, maybe not. Well, what are your 4 picks?
Well, my 4 picks: Whistle Down the Wind.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, I know it's not a well-known movie. It should be. It's a 1961 black and white British film. Starring, I would argue, the greatest child actress of all time, Hayley Mills. Wow. And she's the daughter of she's the daughter of a very respected actor, John Mills, who actually won an Oscar for his portrayal of the village idiot, quote unquote, in the movie Ryan's Daughter. The other. Let's go through the list. Sure, I have only 4 here, but if I write a second part 2, I'll have a few others. But The Passion of Joan of Arc, 1928 silent film, and I have to say it is my favorite movie, and that's saying something because I have a lot of favorites.
Wow, that's great.
Of course, you can't skip Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ.
That's up there.
And I actually wrote a full-length book commentary, so let me put a little plug in for that,
sure,
on this movie, the theology of the Passion of the Christ. St. Pauline Books and Media, Alba House published it, and then the last one in this article is Babette's Feast, which is a 1987 Danish film, so it's also a foreign movie. Kind of funny that 3 of these movies are in foreign languages. Okay. Wow. Except for, of course, the English, the British film Whistle Down the Wind. And of course, what all of these movies have in common is that it does focus on our Lord's suffering in some way or another. And these are very, very profound movies. These are masterpieces. So you would not be wasting your time if you find it on the internet, or even I own the hard copies. I own all the DVDs of these movies. But let me talk about Whistle Down the Wind, probably the least well-known of the 4 in this particular article. Whistle Down the Wind is about children who live on a farm in Great Britain. So it's a very bucolic setting. And a murderer played by Alan Bates, the British actor Alan Bates, hides in their barn. And they mistake him for Jesus. They really believe that he's Jesus. And the reason why is because Kathy, the main character played by Hayley Mills, goes to the barn to check on some kittens that they rescued. The farmhand was trying to drown these kittens, and they rescued the kittens, and so she's checking on them. She goes into the barn, and she sees that there's a stranger. It's dark. It's at night, and she says, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And the character Blakey, he takes our Lord's name in vain, and he says, "Jesus Christ." She thinks it's really Jesus. And so the whole movie is about how these children, her sister and her brother and the children in the town, protect him. They want to keep him hidden because they're afraid if the authorities find out again who he is, that he will be persecuted and he'll be crucified like he was the first time. It is an incredibly profound film, and like I say, a lot of people don't know about it, but I have it on the list. I used to show it to my students when I taught high school, so I'm very, very familiar with this movie. I've seen it probably 16 or 17 times. But going to my favorite movie of all time, The Passion of Joan of Arc, is a monumental film. And if nobody's ever seen a silent movie, well, this is the one you want to watch. It is directed by a Danish director, but it is a French movie. With French, it'll have the dialogue will be in dialogue boxes because it's a silent movie. An incredible performance by Maria Falconetti, who plays Joan of Arc. It is an incredible performance. This movie is very intense, and it was considered very, how shall I put it, progressive. It really was. It was breaking new cinematic ground back in that towards the end of the silent era. And there's that tension between Joan's judges, the British prelates, who are persecuting her, trying to get her to admit that she was, that it was actually the devil that was telling her what to do in going to war against the British in France, and how she has to fend off these attacks. And then those who are on her side, those who support her and who are in sympathy with her. So it's an incredibly profound film, and I really, there's no way I could not put it on the near the top of the list. And then, of course,
it's a silent film, though, right?
Yes, it is a silent film. However, it does have a magnificent score, musical score, that was written for its. The movie was restored in the 1980s, and a new composition was composed. The music can stand on its own. You can even just listen to the music. It's so magnificent. So you get the full package when you watch The Passion of Joan of Arc. The Passion of the Christ, a 2004 Mel Gibson movie. It's undoubtedly it is the most theologically informed movie about our Lord. And this movie is not just quotation marks around that, a mounting of the Passion of the Christ as we would get from the Gospels. For example, this is a movie that gives you the meaning of the Passion of the Christ, and it is also very Eucharistically focused. Now, what do I mean by that? This movie is it evangelizes the Catholic faith. And for example, when Jesus is at the foot of the cross, and he's being ripped off. His clothes are being ripped off his body by the Roman soldiers. The next screen is the bread of the Eucharist at the Last Supper being unfolded from the cloth in which it was contained, and it's a beautiful statement that the Last Supper and our liturgy in the Catholic Church is the representation of the Passion of the Christ as he suffered on Calvary. So it's very, like I said, very theologically informed movie and very Marian. This movie focuses on Mary like no other movie has ever done about Jesus. And I talk about that in my book, of course, The Theology of the Passion of the Christ, making comparisons. But Mary is depicted in the movie certainly as the partner of our Lord, enabling him, helping him to accomplish his salvific work, in contrast to her nemesis. And what is the nemesis of Jesus and Mary? Satan. So Satan is actually a character in the Gibson movie who is trying to do the opposite of what Mary is trying to do, to thwart, to get Jesus not to accomplish his salvific work. So that's a beautiful cinematic tension and drama that is embedded in this really, really beautiful and very fine movie. I will say it is a violent film. This is not a movie for children. It has an R rating for a reason. And if I had to say, well, what's another character in the movie, oddly enough, is blood. Blood is all over this film. It drips, it's splattered, it's sprayed, it's pooled. So there's again making a statement that we are saved through this precious blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. And then the last movie that I feature in my Crisis Magazine article is this beautiful film, Babette's Feast. And one might say, well, how is this movie, a movie that's suitable for Lent? Well, because it is about the Eucharist,
So,
and without giving out any spoilers here, but
Doctor, we'll put a link up for our show in our show notes so you can get your article. But do you want to give out a website? Give it out very quickly.
ProLifeSociety.com. No hyphens. ProLifeSociety.com.
You can check it out there. Check out the entire list.
That was the best of the week on Relevant Radio. The best way to listen to the best of the week is on the Relevant Radio app. Free and always free. Download and share the #1 free Catholic app today in the App Store.